Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Buttered Up.
We saw the Mandalorian and Grogu, and I don't think we loved it.
I think, and we'll get into it. I don't know
I
Shane and
didn't, at
Sydney's
least.
thoughts yet because we haven't officially discussed it. We decided to wait till the podcast. There's moments that are great. There are moments that are not great. I know we each have our own individual notes, so I'm sure we'll get into it. And Sydney might have fallen asleep halfway through. I wasn't even there, but I kind of just feel like she might have fallen asleep.
I actually didn't. Shocking.
Shocking.
Yeah, she got close, probably. Um, we we should start with like introductions on how each of us feel about Star Wars or our experience with Star Wars, so the audience knows going into this discussion what kind of thoughts we already had on it, so we're not biased or anything. You can start, Tyler. Let's hear.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with Star Wars. I love Star Wars. One of my earliest memories as a kid is Sydney and I's dad taking us to go see episode 3 in theaters, and one of like the most life changing moments because I was like, "This is unbelievable." Since then, Star Wars has been okay. I actually think the first movie by J.J. Abrams with Rey isn't as bad as other people say it is, but it definitely goes downhill from there. That being said, caveat, I am, speaking my truth, a huge Mandalorian fan, and I liked the Book of Boba Fett. So I know, hot
First
take.
person on the planet.
I know. So I'm probably not going to be as hard on this movie as other people may be.
Mm-hmm. I have watched Star Wars since probably middle school. I feel like I was a little late to the party, but I just watched them all in one sitting one day, and I was like, "This is pretty good. I get the hype. This is pretty cool." And then, ever since a big corporation bought it, hasn't really been
Paramount.
as
It's
good to
it's
me.
Paramount, everybody.
Paramount, yeah. Since Paramount bought it, hasn't been as good to me. There are some good things that came out of it. Like, I do believe Kylo Ren is probably one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. Adam Driver knocked it out of the park, and I think it's so sad that we didn't get more of time with him. And I did really like Mandalorian season 1. That's about it. So that's, I would say, like my experience with Star Wars. I love it. I'm not like a diehard fan, but I can appreciate what's good. What about you, Sydney?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't have that much experience with it. I've seen a couple of the movies here and there when I was younger, but I don't really know much about it. And I honestly thought starting this movie that the main guy was Darth Vader. So if that tells you anything about how much I know, it's basically nothing.
Okay.
Sydney, I don't know if you remember when we went to go see The Force Awakens together with Dad and Mitchell. Do you remember that?
How old was I?
That movie came out in 2015. So how old were you in 2015?
15? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a great. I mean, it's one of my favorite family experiences. It was just you, me, our brother Mitchell, and Dad, and it was before.
Wait, weren't you in college?
I think it was home. It was a Christmas,
These
right?
two
Didn't
are
they come out on
brother and
Christmas?
sister, by the
We
way.
are brother and sister. We're gonna fight a lot. And we had to wait in line. It was like before you could book and reserve your seat. And so we literally, the 4 of us were in line waiting to be seated in the theater to see that movie. And there was just so many people. And when like C-3PO came on the screen, people were clapping. I mean,
I do remember this. I remember it. Yeah. I take it back. I remember. I actually do. I don't remember anything that happened in the movie, but now that you're saying that, I do remember that.
Lifelong Star Wars fan.
Yes, that is me.
What's your extent of knowledge on it? Like, do you like it, or do you...
It's just not really my thing, but I also haven't really seen a lot of the movies to know, and I think I like the one that's really, really old that I watched when I was like little with Tyler and my dad. It's really old, don't she? Has the buns.
Okay. Well, the buns stay around for a while, I would
You
say.
ain't got none unless you got buns, hun.
Okay. Well, I guess that's our breakdown of what we think of Star Wars, and then let's reveal our ratings on a scale of 1 to 10 at the count of three. Three. Oh wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4.
3.
6.5.
Wow.
Shan, I didn't. What was your rating?
4.
4.
4. Yeah. Sydney
But you
was
say
3.
5 or 10?
Like 5 or
Isn't that a
10.
10, right?
Did you say scale to 10?
To 10. Yeah. 4.
Okay.
I gave it 4 out of 10. And then Sydney gave it a 3 out of 10. Not surprising. And Tyler gave it a, what'd you say, 6?
6.5.
6.5. Okay, we're going to the decimals. Okay. I mean, I guess we can start off with why we didn't really like it.
Well, let's talk about what happens, I think, in the movie for those that need a recap or maybe haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Spoiler review. If you haven't seen it, don't go see it. Just come back when you want a spoiler.
100%. So the movie starts off with our titular characters, Mando and Grogu, even though I don't think they ever actually use his name. Din Djarin is the name of Pedro Pascal's character, and Grogu
I
is
wouldn't call it Pedro Pascal.
Well,
newsflash, he was in it for
the person
3
who
minutes.
speaks is Pedro Pascal. The
voice.
Pedro Pascal and the stunt actors who play Mando, character's name Din Djarin.
I will give them credit where credit's due. In the credit scenes, like when the credits rolled, it was Pedro that was first, and then it gave credit to the 2 stuntmen right after, which played Mando throughout the whole movie. That they didn't have to do that, and they did do that, which I actually commend, because they could have just left it as Pedro, and they didn't do that.
Yeah. So the movie finds us with Pedro Pascal and Grogu on a planet with Sigourney Weaver. And Sigourney Weaver is working for the New Republic, and she's sending them off on a mission. And that's kind of the movie. That's kind of the whole movie. And you're probably like, Tyler, that's a 5-second summary. But that's kind of the whole movie. They go, hey, Mando, go do a mission. And so he goes off with Grogu. Grogu does cute things. Mando's there. And then we have from Rebels, his name is escaping my head.
The purple guy.
Yeah, but what's his name?
I don't know his name.
See, that's kind of
many characters' names in this movie because nothing happens.
No, they don't say many characters' names in this
nobody
movie.
talks. Nobody talks. It's just like a lot of walking and a lot of flying and a lot of grimaces. I know who you're talking about, though. He wasn't important at all.
He's not important, but he's also kind of
mentioning.
Important. So it's Zeb, who's the pilot in the Rebels series. So if you've seen any of the animated Star Wars, you probably know this character. If you haven't, like most people, I think, that are watching, Star Wars just casually, it is a character from Rebels. They don't really introduce, but it doesn't really matter. He's just kind of there sometimes, flying the ship, even though Mando is fully capable of flying the ship. If you are a Mandalorian fan, you may be wondering if the Razor Crest is back. It is. Don't worry how they did it. Yes, you saw it explode in the final season. Again, don't worry about it. None of what you've seen previously in Star Wars matters for this movie.
They got a new Razor Crest, a new ship. Sigourney Weaver said very passionately, she said, "We got you a new ship. It's stock." And it's stock because that means Disney gets to sell different color Razor Crest toys. Yeah. So that's why they did that. And they take it out, and then they have to go find Rada the Hutt, which is
Rada's the second
son.
mission. Yeah.
Is the Hutt his last name or the type of species he is?
The Hutt.
The Hutt. That's a good question. Is it Jabba the Hutt? Is that like his last name, or is that just his? Is like Sydney the Human?
No, I'm honestly confused. I didn't know what that meant.
I actually don't know the answer to that question. I don't
Jamie,
know.
could you pull that up for us?
Look it up, Jamie.
All I could think of was Rada Rada from Chowder every time they said that.
Every time they said it, yeah, I thought the same thing too. Jeremy Allen White plays Rada in this.
My friend.
The surname is Hutt.
Hutt. His surname is Hutt. So that's his last name.
Wait, hold on.
So
No, that's
Jeremy-
okay. Hold on. I don't think
Jeremy
Copilot
Allen
understood. No, I don't think Copilot understood the question.
Well, it's because you use Copilot.
Well, it's because
Speaking of Copilot, they put Grogu back into Razor Crest and Mando back into Razor Crest, and they didn't acknowledge that Grogu likes playing with the shift knob at all.
They did though.
That?
No, they did. They
When
kind
did
of
they do
looked
that?
at. No, he never touches it. But there's a beat where Mando kind of reaches for it, and they kind of center on it. But that's kind of the only callback. But it's like what I was saying, right? It's kind of the only callback. To
I feel like what they really needed to do was like unscrew it and give it to him. You know? 'Cause he did that in the other
we
one,
will
so
we
that
will
would've been
get
cool.
there, Shane, y'all. So Mando and Grogu, they're off on a mission. They're going to find Rada the Hutt, but before they have to go find they're finding Rada the Hutt so they can bring him back to the Hutt planet, and then once he does that, he'll be able to get his information for a rebel leader with the Empire that they can bring into the New Republic. If that sounds convoluted and confusing, it is. And that's kind of the movie.
Wait, I actually didn't think it was confusing at all.
I
They
didn't
just
think it
needed
was
to get him
that
so they
confusing. I
could get
thought it
the
was-
information. And then when Rada goes, I actually have the information, then he just
Maybe not
they do that
confusing,
instead, and then
but
the Hutts
convoluted.
go, oh no, but you didn't bring me Rada. And then they go and they kidnap Mando. Mando was his name, I think. Right? Mando was short for Mandalorian.
Yep, the Mandalorian.
And then Mandalorian saves the day with Grogu. The end.
No, we gotta talk about the other stuff that happened, which didn't really
What stuff?
feel like it happened. Jeremy Allen White said that he didn't want to be his father 6 or 7 times.
In a row.
In
In
a
a row,
row?
mind you. Same exact sentence, and then 2 minutes later, same exact sentence re-explaining it. I, who had no idea what was going on going into it, was like, I understand. You don't want to be your dad. Your dad bad. Oh no, you're not your dad.
They really insulted your intelligence in this movie.
100%. I think one of the main kind of points, one of the things that was really clear with this movie was that I don't think it was written as a movie, and I know other people have said this, but it was clearly written as a 4-part series that was essentially spliced into a singular movie. And one of the things that kind of signals that is the fact, like you guys are saying, the constant callbacks, the things that we either just heard or had maybe heard earlier in the movie. When Rada the Hutt says, I don't want to be like my father, it's almost like it was supposed to be a show coming out weekly, and you needed to be reminded that Rada was Jabba the Hutt's direct lineage.
I didn't
Name
think
one
of that.
time-
I thought they were just trying to fill time, but you're totally right.
Name one time we've seen a Hutt without them being related to the Hutt in any scenario. Does that make
I
sense?
don't
Do you
know.
understand what I'm saying? I feel like, I mean, obviously, yeah, they had to make it clear that that was Jabba the Hutt's son. I get that.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White saying it 8 or 9 times, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't matter. He said it so many times. 6, 7, 6, 7. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like ridiculous, and he didn't care. Sigourney Weaver didn't care. Pedro Pascal didn't really care. It seemed like no one really cared. It felt like content. It didn't feel like a movie. It felt like I don't even know what. I don't know who this is for. I do.
100%.
I left that movie and I talked to Sydney and I was like, who is this movie for? It's not for Star Wars fans because no one there was excited at any point. No one there was hooting. No one there was hollering. There was some laughs. That was like it. It didn't connect to like the greater universe really in any way.
I mean, I think the number one thing that I had in my notes, it's literally the first thing I wrote, is soulless. The movie really lacks a soul. I don't know, Sydney, you're not like you mentioned before, you're not really a Star Wars fan, and I know sci-fi is not really your bread and butter, but I mean, what are your ultimate thoughts on the movie?
I felt like this movie felt like it was a TV episode that was a spin-off of Star Wars and would be on like Disney XD. Like how the Madagascar movies had the Penguins TV show on Disney XD. That's what this felt like to me. So it felt like it was for children. It didn't really feel like I didn't really have to use a lot of my brain or think about anything. They really explained everything to you 100 times, so it felt like it was definitely more of a
Well,
children's entertainment
they also did
movie.
that so that you don't have to see the TV show. But
Still, it
I
gets
don't
to a
know.
point.
No, I guess I understand it gets to a point. It's just like I don't know. Yeah, no, there was nothing going on for this movie at any point. I was bored. Sydney was bored. Tyler, I'm assuming you were bored.
So I don't know if I was bored per se, because there's a lot of action, a lot of fun things happen. I think Martin Scorsese, his character, he plays a street food vendor. I thought that was kind of fun.
That
I
was
think
fun.
Rada is ultimately
Wait,
cool.
I
The
didn't even know that
fights,
was Martin Scorsese. That makes sense. It sounded like
Bro.
him. Thank you for
yeah.
that.
I thought Rada, while flawed in the writing, I think the concept of the character is really cool. I thought the UFC type match in the ring with all the different characters, I thought that was a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of good action scenes here, and most of the movie is action scenes. And I think if that's something that you're looking for, I think you'll have a fun time with this movie. But it didn't really feel, like I said, it just kind of felt soulless. Like there wasn't really a good story. And it was mostly just how do we get Mando from point A to point B and fight his way through it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It felt like a video game,
Yeah.
like where you're tasked with going somewhere and doing something. He does it, and then you're tasked with something else, and then something else happens to put you in the situation of something that I understand that's like a movie and a story, but I don't know how to describe it. It felt like there was like a lot of fluff. Like the
Yeah.
traveling felt like a lot of fluff. The flying, yeah, I don't know. There was just like a lot of fluff. I agree with you. The action was pretty good, especially in like the opening scene
Mm-hmm.
where he like took out the AT-AT, which by the way, I loved when Grogu was tapping on Mandy's helmet, like we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, because the bombs were about to go off, as if the whole side of the AT-AT wasn't open, and he doesn't have access to the Force, where he could have just pushed them out of the AT-AT. What do I know? But I feel like that happened a lot during this movie. Like Grogu just like remembers that he has the Force.
I didn't know he had powers until he started using them midway through the story, and I was like, couldn't you have used this like 10 different times? Like, I
How
thought
did
the
you
point
not
was he
know
was a
when
dumb little baby.
he lifted the RC car Empire thing up in like the first 5 minutes? He lifted it up and exploded it with his mind.
I don't remember.
That's how disconnected she was. She doesn't even remember him lifting up the RC car with his mind and blowing it up.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I heard this from another podcast, but essentially they said this movie was designed for second screen viewing, right? The anticipation you're going to watch it on Disney Plus and be on your phone the whole time while you're doing it, which is why they repeat a lot of things, why people are going to miss. It has to be a little bit bigger right out the gate to grab your attention, because they weren't fighting with cell phones, but it felt like they thought they were going to be fighting with cell phones.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I agree. That's what it seems like it's written like, for sure.
Yeah.
It also
So
feels like it
here's-
was shot like that as well. I didn't feel like at any point when I was watching that I was watching a movie. I felt like I was watching a TV show, right?
So okay, so that leads me. I agree. So that leads me to my question, and I think it's one of the biggest questions I think about this movie. And Shane, I think you'll be able to answer this. Has Jon Favreau lost his touch?
When's the last time Jon Favreau had his touch? I would say Iron Man
Mandalorian
in
season
2008.
1. Lion King, while controversial, was pretty good.
Okay, well that's because it was a cut for cut remake of the animated movie. Yeah, I think Sydney could have made the Lion King live action. So,
That feels kind of rude.
it was a little bit. Um, yeah, I don't think Jon Favreau. Mm, I don't know if he doesn't care. I just think he's kind of like very corporate now, almost like very like yes man for Disney.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Feels like he's not making any risk or taking any risk or anything like that. He's just kind of doing what he needs to do. That's what I'm getting from Jon Favreau. Dave
Yeah, I
Filoni
think.
doesn't have that kind of sauce to do it either, even though he was in the movie a few times, even though he shouldn't have been. I felt
Did
like it
that
was just
take you
Dave
out of
Filoni,
it?
just like Dave being in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's not
I
like
agree.
Stanley. He's not Stanley. I feel like that's what he's trying to do. I just saw Dave Filoni wearing his weird hat.
Yeah.
Um, I understand that he was technically a character in Mandalorian, because he's in the Mandalorian as well, and I get that, but it did feel a little forced. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's another thing
Completely
as
agree.
well I wanted to touch on. I feel like there were a lot of points during this movie where I didn't feel like we were in Star Wars because I didn't feel like we were around a lot of aliens. I felt like we were around a lot of humans. You know what I mean? Or like humans wearing
Yeah.
like the humans with the horns, or the humans at the beginning with like the funny nose. I feel like. What were you gonna say, Sid?
I also felt like we weren't in a Star Wars movie. We were in Star Wars world, in Disney World, and not in like an I don't know what I'm talking about way, but in like it wasn't Star Wars world. Like it was that thing where they try to make it seem more like the parks. Or didn't they do that with Harry Potter recently?
They're doing that with the upcoming Harry Potter.
That's how it
Yeah.
felt like. That's like exactly what it looked like. And like I've seen Star Wars movies before. So it's not like I haven't seen them to know what they look like. And I was like, this feels like Star Wars Disney World, not Star Wars Star Wars.
Yeah, I think.
I
I mean, Nal
think
Hutta, the Planet of the Huts, felt very
mhm.
Star Wars.
I like that. Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like a
I'm in
lot of
the
those
vendors
critiques,
area. Like when they were at
yeah,
that other
comes from
planet
that
where
moon.
Rada was, yeah. Where there was the vendors area and that like bar thing. I was like, this just looks like I'm walking into a restaurant in Disney World. This looks like where
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I
go get
was
my popcorn in
thinking.
Disney World.
The
Like
bar, yeah, like that whole salt
it's like a
bar
food
with the
court,
pets hanging from the
food
ceiling.
area.
It just, I did not feel like I was in Star Wars. It wasn't like in like,
Because
like
we
the
were in
first.
Star Wars Disney World, not
It,
Star Wars.
it didn't feel like the first three movies where it's like, you remember when they walk into like the pub and it's like dun, 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 and it's all the aliens playing in the jazz band. Like that was like Star Wars. I felt like I walked in there and it was just a bunch of like, it was literally just a bunch of henchmen. They weren't even aliens. They were just like angry henchmen.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of disagree. I mean, I think Ludwig Jorgensen, I think is how you pronounce the composer's
Yeah,
name.
the
I mean, the
genius.
score is fantastic, and it
Hmm,
feels
hmm.
like you're in space. And maybe it's a different type of score than you would get in previous Star Wars movies. But I think Disney's going to try really hard over these next few years to start to distance themselves from original Star Wars so they're able to tell new stories. And I think they've learned a
Yeah,
lesson from the Rey Skywalker trilogy of, yeah, those movies made a lot of money, but it wasn't a really good story. And so I think they're trying to find new avenues to tell different stories. I mean, heck, the
I
next
thought
movie
that's
we're
what
getting is Ryan
Starfighter
Gosling.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Starfighter seems like it's going to be. That's not what this feels like. It should have almost come out after Starfighter, like when everyone's like excited again. You know what I mean? But then I
Yeah.
guess people would just be let down
Yeah.
if they saw Starfighter and it was good, and they came to this and it was boring. So I guess it kind
Yeah.
of makes sense why they released it the way that they did. Um, yeah, no, I don't feel like it felt very Star Wars, but I do agree that Ludwig like elevated it to a level that it without Ludwig and his score in this movie, it would have been maybe like a two
100%. Well, no, I disagree.
for me.
Two's a little harsh, but I
Yeah.
obviously like this movie more than you guys did. Um,
Well, what
speaking, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like what happened next. Like they just like hunted for Rada on the gladiator place, which was
Yeah.
just an excuse for more toys. I felt like.
Okay, so I mentioned that I thought the movie was soulless, but I think one of the other things, and I want you to just kind of give me your thoughts on this.
Uh-huh.
It felt like there was no character progression whatsoever. That the movie started with the characters in one way and they stayed that way by the end. I don't know what your thoughts
Yeah.
are on that.
No, that's a good point. The problem is, it's. What are you gonna say, Sid?
I don't think there was enough time for that much character development. It really felt to me like this should have been a 30-minute TV episode. Like there was literally like one situation happened. Like how could they develop in that?
It was 2 hours.
Yeah, but it was like one thing. It's like going about my day and it's like something happens within like a couple days and it's like how much am I really going to progress in a couple days?
Any movie you progress a lot in a couple days. That's the kind of the point of the movie. I disagree with that just because.
Nothing only one thing
Well,
happened.
the problem
There
is they
was no
can't have
opportunity
any.
for them to change their ways. The only people that could
They
have even
can't.
changed would have been the aunt and uncle. But like,
The only thing is you can't really progress that much because the so Grogu is 50 years old in this. I think he's
I
still
don't
a
think they
baby.
say that, but
They don't say that, but I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah.
what he is. And because Grogu's aging to that extent, like that slowly, we as an audience are not going to be able to see any growth or depth or anything from Grogu because by the time we see any depth or growth or anything, he's going to be like Mando's going to be long gone by then. So that's like I feel like a challenge that they kind of dug their own hole in. You know, like they
but
like, dug themselves a hole by
but there's
making him a
no.
character.
But
I
I
agree with Mando though.
disagree.
Like nothing happened.
But I disagree because I think the only versions of this species we have are Yoda and Yaddle, and we both see Yoda and Yaddle as full-grown adults, right? With
Mm-hmm.
Grogu, they literally invented Grogu. They've invented this baby form of the character.
Yeah.
At any point, they could just decide, oh, Grogu can now age or Grogu can talk. He doesn't talk. There are moments you think he's going to talk. He doesn't talk. And I wanted him, I know other people disagree, but I wanted him to say, this is the way. Just something as a reward for those of us that have been along on this Mandalorian journey for now 4 seasons, because it's 3 seasons in a movie, but really that was like a 4th season. I wanted something from him or for Mando to. Well, sorry, my last point, right, is they wanted Mando Din Djarin to be like Han Solo, and they wanted him to be like, I'll never help the good guys. I'm just a guy who's hired for money. But he doesn't have the swagger that Han Solo had in those original movies. And in the end, Han Solo did decide to help the good guys. And in the end of this movie, Din Djarin's like, peace, see you later. I'm not helping you losers again. You got to hire me for money.
I agree. I will say though, what was my point? Yeah, no, I mean so they did do that whole thing where they knocked Din Djarin, the Mando, out. And they did that, I think, just to show that there is some autonomy with Grogu, like being able to be his own person and just kind of like walk around and do his own things. Like we had that whole little montage of him taking care of Mando, which I appreciated. And then also randomly, Grogu can heal through the force healing now, which would imply that he just somehow naturally learned that. Or
well, he did it. You don't see it because there's no reference to anything that happened in the show. He does it in season 1. I did a rewatch of season 1.
Does he?
Before the movie. So if you remember Carl Weathers' character who plays R.I.P. Carl Weathers, he plays the head of the Bounty Hunters Guild.
Yes,
and
I remember this.
in that, he gets shot, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, by want to say by a TIE fighter. They're like, oh no,
He got
Carl
shot
Weathers.
by a TIE fighter,
He got shot by something. Maybe it
and he
wasn't a
didn't
TIE
get
fighter.
blown in half.
No, but he was wounded and he was dying. And then they're all just kind of sitting around. So it's Carl Weathers, it's Gina Carano, disgraced Star Wars actress and fighter on Netflix versus Ronda Rousey, Mando, and Quill. If you remember Quill from the show, the guy that says "I have spoken." And
yes.
they're like, "Oh no, Carl Weathers is dying," and Grogu's just like. They're like, whoa, how did he do that? What's the Force? Nobody knows what the Force is. Nobody knows what a Skywalker is. And so we've seen him do it before.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
How does Luke not know how to do it?
I think so. I mean, that's where I think the movie fails us in its attempt to be so separated from the show and from the rest of Star Wars. It does a bad job of connecting us to the world as a whole. And I think one of the things that's kind of explored in The Mandalorian is the fact that Grogu and Yoda and those types of characters are just born more connected to the Force through like midichlorians, and if midichlorians are the thing that George Lucas invented later on that apparently is like it's in your blood, and that's how you
the
get.
Force is like space racism.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Going back to the whole thing with the scene with the multiple scenes, I guess I don't know what you call that, with Grogu trying to heal Mando. I was new to Grogu. I've never seen anything with him in it. But I know that he's been a thing for a lot of years. Like a what?
You're way too loud.
Oh, sorry. He's been a thing for like a lot of years at this point, it seems like. And I kind of felt like they just did those scenes because like people love Baby Yoda and they just want to see Baby Yoda. And it felt more like that's why they did all of that, was just to provide that entertainment. And I'm like, okay, even though I haven't seen him before, this feels a little reused because I'm like, is there going to be anything new that's cool and entertaining, or just reusing like something that, once again, people already like?
I mean, that's Disney's bread and butter, baby. That's Disney's bread and butter. They love farming stuff that people like, which is why those Babu Frick little guys, those 4 little Babu Fricks, that's not, I mean, I know Babu Frick is the name of the guy, but I meant like those 4 guys. That's why they had that whole
monkeys
section
with the goggles.
Yes, yeah. That's why Babu Frick was there with Baby Yoda, because they know that the audience is like, oh, little guys. I like little guys. Yeah, I like little guys, and that's why we had so many Babu Frick Grogu moments, and then also toys. But yeah, I agree. So that's exactly what they're doing it for.
Here's one more question about the movie as a whole. Were you at any point expecting Yoda to appear as a Force ghost?
No, as a Force ghost? No, because Disney just invented that, and then people didn't like it, and then they forgot it. Because there's like, that makes
Disney
no
didn't
sense.
invent
The Force ghost.
Force ghosts are in
the
original.
No. Yes, that's not what I meant. Sorry, I meant like the new Force ghost, which Disney invented, which is like the, let me summon lightning. Let me grab objects.
See, I thought when he had the stick, he just built the hut. He looks exactly like Yoda. He's lost. He's confused.
He did look like him.
Mando
that's why they did it, I think.
You think Mando is dead, and I thought, a Force ghost Yoda was going to appear. You thought you were alone. Alone, you are not.
Too good of an idea.
That would have been too good of an idea,
but they didn't do it.
Because I wasn't expecting any characters from original Star Wars to come in, because once I had turned to Shane and said, is that Darth Vader? And before they even said Mandalorian, and then I was like, no. Like, once I realized that it was completely different characters than any of the ones in the original Star Wars, I thought it was just a completely different spin-off. Like, I didn't think any of the characters were actually from the original Star Wars movies. I thought these were all just new. So I didn't expect any old ones to come in.
Yeah, I think, they are. There's no original characters, which I'm fine with. But
I could have used it. I could have used a Yoda appearance.
Maybe
I think
that would have been a little bit too key jangly. Now that I think about it, but
it would have got people talking. You would have left with a different opinion of the movie,
and it would have made sense. It would have made sense. But then also, the problem is when you open that can of worms, how do you close it? Like, like we should see if that happens once, why wouldn't it happen an infinite amount more times? And I thought that weird island that Rey went to was like more force powerful than other islands, or other places, which is why we were able to see Luke and Yoda there.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense because we saw in the prequels and other ones Force Ghost. But maybe that's why, to that extent, they're able to grab and use lightning only there. Who knows? I'm not going to justify it. I don't know.
I bring up something else that I think might also be a slight plot hole? When they're trying to run away from the droids or whatever they're called.
Which time?
Huh? Towards the end, when they're in like the forest thing and Grogu's trying to hide Mando and everything. And then
or in his Yoda hut?
Huh?
In his hut? Like the hut that Grogu makes? When they hide Mando.
Yeah, I think even before that, just the whole thing. How could they not find? They had no technology to like see where life is in there. They just stood around like, I don't see it. Like, I don't understand, because in the beginning, didn't Mandalorian have something where he could see where there was like?
Yeah, but that's Mando. Like he's got way more resources than those guys. I would say.
They like
except
not even
for the other bounty hunters.
Just robots. I thought they were droids. Like,
I don't know the droid's capability.
You don't have like a heat sensing thing. Like we're in a whole other world, but then heat sensing and just like common sense goes out the window.
I'm fine with it, honestly. I get what you're saying, but I maybe that's too nitpicky. Just because like he was
hiding under like 3 leaves.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think like also Grogu didn't really see anybody around there.
When Grogu was walking around, nobody was looking. It was like, oh, Grogu's fine, no one will see him.
Well, that's not true. The bounty hunter came with a dog. And
that was way later though.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I mean,
I paid attention.
Nothing.
And Sigourney Weaver was not a good actress in this movie. I kind of now wonder if she's. I kind of wonder, does she money or what?
Well, yeah. I'm saying she didn't want to be there. She just wanted the paycheck.
Was she there though? I couldn't figure out if she was just on a green screen or if she was ever on set with any other characters.
That's a good question. I think she was on set with Mando, quote unquote, like whatever stunt man was there. I don't remember their names. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but I think that was like the extent. Yeah, no, she had a very phoned-in performance. Jeremy Allen White had a phoned-in performance. The writing was atrocious. Do you remember when I wrote this down? Do you remember when Jeremy Allen White was like trying to get Mando to trust him to trust him? He said, "Am I lying, or am I telling the truth?" You should just say, "Am I lying?" And then it's a yes or no question, not "Am I lying?"
The face you made when he said that was so funny.
I just thought it was like redundant and it was just like lazy, just like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like I feel like I agree. Insulting us again.
I think they were just trying to make it as long as possible. Like I think it's like when you're trying to write an essay and it's like you need a minimum amount of words. That's what that was giving.
Let's do the other things. So Tyler has a little activity he wants to do with Sydney because Sydney's not too educated on these topics, so we thought.
Okay, thank you, Shane. So we're gonna play a game. You can play along at home. Let's see how you do. We're gonna play. Is that a real Star Wars character?
Woo!
So Sydney, here's how the game's gonna work. I'm gonna give you, let's say, 6 names. Okay, we're gonna do 6. Nice even number. 3 of them are going to be real Star Wars characters. 3 of them are not going to be real Star Wars characters, okay? And we're not going to tell you until the end. I'll let Shane tell you how many you got correct, all right? So you know that I'm not just cheating. I think you will.
You said 3 will be real?
3 will be real, 3 will not be real, but Shane will not reveal until the end what your final score was, okay? All right. Sydney, are you ready to play?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll start you off with what I think is an easy one. Lord Vexar. Lord Vexar.
I'm going to go no, not real.
Okay. Darth Krylos.
Not real.
Not real. Okay, interesting. Already knocked 2 off of your not reals. Let's go with Ahsoka Tano.
Real.
You think real?
I think real.
Interesting. Okay.
Very interesting. Okay.
Very
Interesting.
Nico Dre.
Real.
Okay. Interesting. R5.
Ooh.
That's a good
I know
one.
R2D2.
Classic.
I feel like you're trying to give me a spin-off version of that, so I think this is a trick question, and I'm going to go with not real.
Okay. Interesting. Shane, I think I've given 5 so far, right? I got to give one more.
Correct.
Okay.
One more real one.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Real.
Yeah. Shane, how'd she do?
She did pretty good. I actually don't know what the other real one was. I know it's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ahsoka Tano. What was the other one?
R5.
R5. What's R5?
Ooh.
R5 is like an R2D2 type droid.
Is that like the orange one?
It's like a red one.
That's BB-8.
Yeah, so R5 is an astromech droid, kind of like R2D2.
What's the little droid's orange? The orange little soccer ball droid.
BB-8.
BB-8. Yeah. Okay, that was right. Yeah, BB-8's great. He's my favorite.
Oh, that's honestly not even what I was thinking of.
Do you remember when he did the thumbs up with the lighter?
Yeah.
Cinema. Absolutely cinema. That was like top 5 Star Wars moments for me. Was this? See, there were some good things that Disney did, and it was BB-8.
Yeah.
And Kylo Ren.
Okay. So wait, did she go 3 for 6? Is that how we... No, she got...
How many did she get? No, she got... Yeah, wait. No. How many did she get? She got...
That would mean I got 4, guys. Let's go back to math.
I'm not good at math.
That's why we're podcasting.
I know. I was too busy reading names that I had ChatGPT make up.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, we figured it out.
Wait, so which other one, though?
So the real ones were R5,
Ahsoka Tano, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you got 2 right.
Which was the one that I said was real that wasn't?
I think it was Darth Krylos.
No, I said that one wasn't real.
No, it was the second weird one. Like, it was the Ahsoka Tano, and then it was the other one.
Oh.
Right, something Key or Re.
It was Glup Shido.
Or Nico
was it
Ray.
Kryn Sordo? Was that what I read?
You said Nico Ray or something.
Oh, Nico Dre. Yeah, Nico Dre.
That's real? That's not real?
No, it's not real.
According to Mr. GPT, it's not real.
You couldn't even think of these on your own. You had to use AI.
Yeah, I'm not very smart.
Clearly.
But I mean, that's the beauty of me, before we wrap this up, is that I am smart enough to know that I'm not smart, and that's why I have to use ChatGPT.
Well, let's wrap it up with like each of our favorite moments of The Mandalorian Grogu and each of our least favorite moments. And then maybe just like throw in a random moment from there. I'll start. My favorite moment was probably the Grogu side adventure where he's just like walking around fighting bugs, and like meditating. I feel like it was like visually very nice to look at, and the puppetry in this movie was phenomenal. We'll make fun of the movie all we want, but the puppetry was really really good. Um, so that was really really entertaining to watch. I also liked when the Babu Fricks and Grogu went into the big pipe, and the Babu Frick was like, "Big pipe." Yeah, that was really really good. That was one of my favorite moments. And then one of my least favorite moments. Um, I really disliked anything in the salt bar. The action scene, I guess, was okay. I just didn't like the area. I really liked the score from Ludwig. I didn't like that the Empire guy felt the need to repeat himself 26 times about how he wanted Mando to participate in the tournament. Um, yeah, just overall, just was kind of a snooze for me. And then a random moment for me. Uh, I thought the VFX looked pretty good until any point when they were on that home base at the Rebel base. Any VFX on that Rebel base, just the lighting was way too bright for the VFX, and it just made everything look bad. Made Rada look bad. Made that purple monkey guy look bad. Made Dave Filoni look bad. Just not good. Someone else can go. Tower City.
Sitting.
My favorite part was when there was that monkey thingy in the ring with the mallet who went. That was my favorite. And then what's
in
my
the gladiator fight?
yeah whatever that was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what was my next thing?
Your least favorite thing, and then a random thing.
My least favorite was the acting in the very beginning of the movie when they're like at the table of leaders.
Oh, at the table of leaders when they just shot the guy with the funny nose.
Yeah, and everyone was like, I was like, I could have acted better than that. And then my random.
Just like a random moment that sticks out to you.
A random moment that sticks out to me is when Mandalorian and all of the guys are like, oh, let's go back to the ship. And then they get there and like come to the ship, and the ship is like this big.
That
I
was
like that.
really funny.
Yeah.
I saw it coming from a mile away, but it was really funny. And I love who the Babu Fricks were always like, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Get on the ship, baby. We gotta go, baby.
I like that they called him baby. And
Come on,
I
baby.
didn't like it once I found out he was 50 years old after the movie. But
when Grogu shot the rat in the pipe, good shot, baby. Good shot, baby. That was great. All right, there you go.
Yeah, I think, this movie left a lot on the table. There's a lot that's missing, but I do think ultimately it's a lot of fun. And I know I was ripping on it pretty hard throughout this podcast, but there's some really cool moments. I think the fighting scenes as a whole are what make the movie worth it, especially with the gladiator scene where it's the final battle and he teams up with Rada to beat all the other alien creatures that are in the arena. I think when they break out and they're just going around, it kind of felt like you were on a Universal, Spider-Man ride, if you've ever been on that. But I don't personally, I don't think that was a bad thing. I thought that was a fun scene. I think Sydney kind of touched on it. The acting's not great for some of the characters. I think Sigourney Weaver, while traditionally a great actress, really struggles, and she's kind of hard to watch. And again, I don't know if it's because she was alone on a green screen, but I think the acting could have been better.
I agree.
And then in terms of a moment, I mean, I know it's more than a moment, but I did genuinely like Martin Scorsese's character. I thought it was a fun touch. I think Star Wars needs those oddball characters to feel like Star Wars. And I think they did a good job with that because it felt like it was a good tradition that Star Wars likes to do, having that oddball character. And so, yeah, I think overall, like I said, 6.5 out of 10.
All right. After discussion, did anything change for you, Sydney, in terms of your rating out of 10?
no.
Me as well. I did not like this movie.
I'm usually really open to. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think the Martin Scorsese character. You're right. It just, I don't know. wasn't
That's just the
giving what it
power of
needed to
Martin
give.
Scorsese.
I felt like this was just a Disney World advertisement. It was like, or being able to just tie this back into other things so they can make money is really how I felt personally.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's
there were
just,
cute parts. There were cute parts. So 3.5.
okay. Well, I'm still 4. I didn't really like it. Hopefully, Starfighter's better with Ryan Gosling. I'm excited for that one. I don't know what we're gonna watch next, but we'll be
Maybe
back.
the back rooms.
The Backrooms, yes, I'm really excited for that. That looks like it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Just another YouTuber just giving it a shot. If it was anything like Obsession, I think we're going to have a really good discussion, and I'm really excited to see it. So,
I'd give that movie an 8 plus.
Thank
out of
you.
10.
Obsession.
Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Make sure to follow Sydney on Sid's Food. Make sure to follow me on Thinking Sideways. Shane, anything you want to promote or shout out?
Make sure you tell someone you love them.
Follow us on the socials, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Buttered Up Pod. Tell your friends. That's how people will find out about this podcast. And we'll see you on the next one. Stay popped.